I was always the quiet one. In school, I never spoke unless someone asked me a question. I sat at the back of the class. Avoided eye contact. And felt nervous just thinking about talking. Even at home, I was soft-spoken. I believed that confident people were just born that way. I didn't think I could change. As I got older, things didn't get easier. In college, I had to give a small presentation. I stood there shaking, barely able to speak. My heart was beating so fast. I felt like everyone could hear it. Afterward, I ran out of the room in embarrassment. I decided then I wasn't made for public speaking or leadership. I accepted my quietness as part of who I was. When I got a job in an office, I continued to stay in the background. I had ideas, but I kept them to myself. I was afraid people would laugh at me or think I was wrong. I only spoke when I had to. I didn't feel confident. And I didn't think I ever would. One day, my manager asked me to present a report in the team meeting. I was terrified. I thought about saying no. But something stopped me. A voice inside said, "Try." So I said yes. I spent hours preparing, practicing the words over and over again. The day came. My hands were shaking. My voice trembled. But I did it. I finished the report. I didn't run away. When I sat down, my manager smiled and said, "Well done." That was the first time in a long time I felt proud of myself. It was a small step, but for me, it was huge. That one experience changed something inside me. I realized that maybe confidence wasn't something you're born with. Maybe it's something you build. One small moment at a time. That day, I made a quiet promise to myself. I will learn to be confident, no matter how long it takes. After my first presentation, I felt both scared and proud. Scared because I knew I had a long way to go. proud because I had taken the first step. I didn't expect to become confident overnight. But I knew something had changed. I had faced one of my biggest fears. And I had survived. That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart was still racing. But not with fear. This time, with excitement. I thought, if I can do that once, maybe I can do it again. So, I set a goal. I would say one brave thing every day. It could be asking a question, sharing an idea, or even just saying, "Good morning," to someone new. The next day, I went to the coffee shop near my office. Normally, I just pointed to what I wanted. But this time, I looked at the cashier and said, "Good morning. I'll have a latte, please." It was such a small thing. But it felt like a mountain climbed. At work, I made a comment during a meeting. Just one sentence. My voice shook a little. But I said it. No one laughed. In fact, someone agreed with me. That gave me more courage. Each time I did something small, it added up. Slowly, I was becoming someone new. I also started reading books about confidence. One quote stuck with me. Courage doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do it anyway. That became my guide. I was scared every time. But I kept doing it. I created a confidence journal. Every evening, I wrote down what brave thing I did that day. Looking back helped me feel proud and motivated. I saw that progress wasn't about big changes. It was about small, consistent steps. The biggest challenge wasn't other people. It was me. The voice in my head kept saying, "You can't do this. You'll mess up. People will laugh." I realized that my lack of confidence came from believing that voice. So I decided to talk back to it. I started practicing positive self-talk. Every morning, I looked in the mirror and said, "You are learning. You are getting better." At first, it felt silly. But slowly, I believed it. I had been listening to negative thoughts for years. It was time to change the message. I also reminded myself of the things I had done well. I remembered the first presentation. The small greetings. The meeting comments. I used those moments as proof that I was growing. It helped me silence the inner critic. Sometimes, I failed. I said the wrong thing or forgot what I wanted to say. But I learned not to be too hard on myself. Mistakes were part of learning. Every failure was a lesson, not a defeat. That idea gave me peace and courage to keep trying. One day, I spoke at a larger meeting. I was nervous, but I prepared carefully. I stood up, shared my idea, and sat down. My heart was racing, but I felt proud. Afterward, my teammate said, "You've changed. You speak with confidence now." I smiled, knowing it was true. The voice inside me still whispered doubts. But now I had a new voice too. One that said, "You can." Confidence started changing how I saw myself. I was no longer the person hiding in the corner. I was slowly becoming someone who spoke up. Someone who believed in their own ideas. It felt like I had discovered a new part of myself. A part that had always been there, waiting to be heard. At work, I began leading small projects. I volunteered to run team discussions. I didn't always get it right, but I kept learning. People started asking for my opinion. That was new. And it felt good. Outside of work, I joined a public speaking group. The first time I introduced myself in front of the group, my hands were cold and my voice shook. But everyone clapped. No one laughed. Everyone was kind. That gave me the courage to return the next week. And the next. With each session, I grew stronger. I also began to help others. I noticed a new colleague who reminded me of myself. Quiet. Nervous. Afraid to speak. I shared my story with her. I encouraged her. Just like someone once encouraged me. Seeing her grow gave me more strength too. Confidence wasn't just about speaking louder. It was about being true to myself. It was about showing up even when I was scared. I started to understand that I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to be brave and honest. For the first time, I liked who I was becoming. One day, my manager invited me to speak at a company event. It would be in front of 100 people. My first thought was to say no. But then I remembered where I started. From the shy person who couldn't say hello. I took a deep breath and said yes. I spent 2 weeks preparing. I practiced every day. I recorded myself speaking. I fixed my posture. My tone. My words. It was the biggest challenge of my life. But I was ready. The day of the event, I stood behind the stage. Heart pounding. My name was called. I walked up. Faced the audience. And started speaking. My voice was clear. I shared my story. How I had built confidence step by step. People listened. Some nodded. One woman even wiped a tear. When I finished, the room clapped. Not just polite claps. Real. Strong applause. Afterward, many came to thank me. One person said, "Your story inspired me." That moment was my turning point. I realized I wasn't just building confidence. I was helping others do the same. After the event, something shifted. I began to carry myself differently. I walked with my head high. I smiled more. I felt comfortable in conversations. I wasn't pretending to be confident. I was becoming it. Confidence didn't make me loud or bold all the time. It made me present. I could listen better, speak clearer, and connect more deeply. Whether I was giving a speech or ordering lunch, I felt calm and steady. At home, my family noticed the change. My parents said, "You've grown into yourself." My friends came to me for advice. Some even asked how they could become more confident. I was happy to share my journey. I told them the truth. It started with one small step. I realized that confidence touches every part of life. It helps in job interviews, making friends, speaking English, trying new things. It's not about being fearless. It's about choosing courage. Even when you're afraid. And I still had moments of doubt. But now, I had tools. I breathed deeply. I reminded myself of my past wins. I focused on growth, not perfection. I saw fear as a sign that something important was happening. Confidence became part of who I was. Not because I was never afraid, but because I kept showing up. One day, I received a message from someone in my public speaking group. They said, "Your progress inspires me. Would you consider coaching others?" I was surprised. Me, a coach, but I said yes. I started with small sessions. Just a few people. I shared what had helped me. Daily courage. Positive self-talk. Practice. And patience. I told them that even a whisper can grow into a strong voice. More people joined. I saw them grow. Just as I had. One man who never spoke above a whisper gave a 5-minute speech. A woman who once hid in the back now led team meetings. Watching them succeed filled my heart. Teaching reminded me how far I had come. It also deepened my own confidence. When you help others rise, you rise too. I started a blog about confidence. Then a podcast. I wanted to reach more people, especially those who thought they weren't born confident. I wanted them to know it's something we build together. Not every day was easy. There were times when I froze during a speech. Sometimes I doubted myself again. A few people were critical or unkind. Those moments hurt. I felt small again. But the difference now was, I didn't give up. I returned to my journal. I remembered my journey. I talked to friends who believed in me. I reminded myself that growth isn't a straight line. Confidence walls sometimes. That's okay. One day, I forgot my words during a live podcast. I panicked for a moment. Then I smiled and said, I lost my train of thought. Let's take a breath. I continued calmly. Listeners later said they loved my honesty. That moment taught me. Real confidence includes mistakes. It includes getting back up. Each setback became a lesson. I stopped fearing them. I welcomed them. Because they showed me I was still growing. Confidence gave me more than just a strong voice. It gave me freedom. I started saying yes to things I once avoided. Travel. Interviews. Leading events. Even singing at a small open mic night. I laughed more. I stopped hiding. I lived with my whole heart. I also said no when needed. Confidence taught me to set boundaries. I respected myself more. I chose what made me feel proud and peaceful. I began mentoring young people. Many of them were shy. Just like I had been. I told them, you don't have to wait for confidence. Start where you are. Grow little by little. I saw their eyes light up. That made everything worth it. I traveled to different cities, speaking at events. Each time, I told my story. How I built confidence. Not all at once, but step by step. Today, I still grow my confidence every day. It's not a finish line. It's a journey. Sometimes I feel strong. Sometimes unsure. But now I know how to move forward. I speak not just to be heard, but to connect. I lead not to impress, but to inspire. I live not to be perfect, but to be real. My story started with fear. It grew with effort. It continues with purpose. To anyone listening, if you feel shy, nervous, or invisible, know this: you are not alone. And you can change. Confidence is not a gift. It's a skill, a practice, a decision. Take one small, brave step today. Speak one word. Show up once. Try. And tomorrow, do it again. You'll be amazed at the person you become. Vocabulary highlights: confidence, belief in yourself and your abilities. Shy, nervous or uncomfortable with people or speaking. Courage, bravery, doing something even when it's hard. Presentation, speaking in front of others to share ideas. Self-talk, the thoughts and words you tell yourself. Progress, moving forward or improving. Over time. Setback, a problem that slows your progress. Encouragement, support and positive words. Mentor, a person who guides and helps others. Inspire, to make someone feel hope or motivation. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. @Tools Fluency. We help you learn English through stories that touch your heart and grow your confidence. New stories every day. In slow, simple English for beginners.